Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I am Emily, and if you are new, I have been doing a series on friendship. This is the last video in this series. It has been pretty interesting. I have been avoiding this topic for a long time because I feel like it can be just very controversial, and it's a hard topic to talk about because I know a lot of us go through things in our friendship that is hard to talk about and it's hard to deal with. But last week's video was about how to be a good friend, and the first video in this series was our trust and bond being broken with friends and also losing friends and how to deal with it. So if that interests you, you can go ahead and look back on those and come back to watch this one. But today's video is toxic friendships and what to do about them and how to handle them. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. So if you don't understand what toxic friendship means, it's when you just feel like drained after every single time that you talk to that person, or they're discouraging you, or they're drawing you away from the Lord, or they are just draining your energy. If they are never encouraging you in your walk with the Lord, and they're always discouraging you, and after every time you talk to them you just feel like you need to sleep for a few hours, or maybe every single time that person is brought up in conversation you just feel very anxious and stressed and upset because of maybe something that has happened, or something that is happening in that friendship that maybe you have not talked about with that person. Yeah, I feel like there are a ton of reasons and a ton of things that could be why that friendship is a toxic friendship. For me personally, I definitely know what this is like. It is something that's really hard to deal with, but I think it's very important to actually acknowledge that that friendship is toxic and that you need to either figure out what to do about it and how to change it, or if worst comes to worst, it is important to sometimes end a friendship if that person is literally always discouraging you in your walk with the Lord. If the person's always discouraging you and drawing you away from Him and what you believe, and if they're like always trying to get you to rely on your feelings or your emotions, and if they're also trying to, completely have you completely erase your feelings or emotions, and if they're not listening to anything you have to say and they're just being really harsh all the time, that is also not healthy. When someone asks you to just like completely erase your feelings, or if you tell them your feelings and they're like, well, just like look at the Lord and what He has given you. Yes, you should do that. But it is important to feel what you're feeling, but to let the Lord heal that. Because if you completely bury your emotions and your feelings, we won't have any if we keep burying them. And I'm not trying to be harsh, or I'm not talking literally. Okay, I do want to put a disclaimer in this video. I'm not talking to anybody specific. I am just making a video that is not going to anybody that I know in particular. It is just things that I have learned that are important, that I feel like are important to share. And this video is one that I have been the most nervous to share because it is so hard to talk about, but it is so important. So yeah, it is important to feel your feelings, and it is important to acknowledge the way you're feeling. And if the friend is always trying to get you to completely erase how you feel and never really listening, that is really not the way to go about it. But also you need to make sure that you are doing your part and not letting those feelings dictate you and rule how you live and how you speak. Our situations in our life are here for a reason, and the Lord will use them, but we have to make sure that we're not letting those things completely rule and dictate what we do, how we do it, and what we say. We need to make sure that what we are going through can be used for His glory, and that we are allowing Him to. So now that we have covered all of that, I'm just going to say a couple of things on how we can deal with this kind of friendship and what we can do. So the first being, if you feel comfortable to talk about it with them, talk about it. Because I feel like so many times things are misunderstood, and we may do things that really aren't in accordance to what was said or what was done. We need to make sure that we understand what they said, what they did, and because it could be completely wrong, it could be completely not what we thought. Also, just distance yourself a little bit. Not necessarily quit talking to them, because quitting talking to them is not going to help anything on either side, because on their side it's going to make them think, what's wrong with me? On your side, it is, if it's not out of genuine care and love and like you feel like the Lord wants you to do it, it's not going to help your situation. If you're just doing it because you cannot handle it per se, I feel like you need to bring that to the Lord. A lot of times I have had to bring things to the Lord that I felt like were way too heavy for me to handle, and they were. I needed to bring them to the Lord. But when I did bring them to the Lord, it brought me peace, and I was able to work through that and be able to be friends with them still. I feel like so many times people just make decisions rashly, and they don't really think about the end result and if they're doing what's right. We need to be patient, and we cannot act out of our emotions. We need to make sure that what we think we need to do is in accordance with what we think God is telling us to do, because we could end a friendship because we are frustrated with that person, but then a week from now we are not frustrated with them. We can't just go back to them and expect that friendship to be just the way it was before you ended it, because you hurt. Like, if we end the friendship, we hurt that person so bad, and it is so hard to go back to that place after the trust and stuff is broken, which I was talking about in 2 weeks ago's video. It is so hard after a friendship is disconnected. It is hard to reconnect it again, if that makes sense. Because once any two people are disconnected, it is hard to connect them back. Am I making sense? I'm not sure. The last thing is to pray. Obviously, prayer is the most powerful thing that we can do, and is directly talking to the Lord. We need to bring everything to Him. And when we do have struggles in a friendship, which, disclaimer here, everybody has struggles in friendship. Friendships are not perfect. No relationship is perfect. And I know some people think that like friendships are easier than like family member relationships, but really, if you have a very good relationship with that friend, it's kind of just like a family. And I'm not saying that family relationships are terrible, but it is harder to get, not necessarily get along with them, but I feel like you get into more conflict because you live with them all the time and you feel yourself and very comfortable with them. Also, if you are getting into a ton of conflict with that friend or with your family, then that is a part on your side that you need to fix, and not something that you need to disconnect them from your life because there's something wrong with them. Because what is in our heart comes out, and if we are always reacting to things in frustration and anger and stuff, that is what's in our heart. And I'm guilty of this. I respond a lot of times to people in frustration, but something that I have started practicing a lot lately is when I do need time and when I am frustrated, I just don't text people back. I can't always go to people because I need to go to the Lord firsthand. And if you are married, then you need to go to your spouse secondly. But yeah, that is all I have for today's video. I really hope it can be an encouragement to someone or help someone out there that is dealing with a toxic friendship on either side of the party. If you either disconnected from a friend or if you were the one who that person disconnected from, it is so hard on either side, but mainly on the one that lost the friend and they don't necessarily know why. That's when you don't know why that person stopped talking to you, it is so hard. But also, if that person doesn't feel like they can talk to you about it, they're not going to, because you don't know how they're going to respond. So really hope this video can be an encouragement and help one of you. And yeah, I will see you guys next week, hopefully with a more lighthearted video. I feel like these past 3 weeks have been not necessarily like sad, but a little bit heavy, and I'm ready to be talking about something else because it is hard for me to talk about friendships, like the hard topics about friendships, because I have gone through a lot with friendships, but I've learned also so much. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you soon, Lord willing, with a new video.